Persians like to talk a big game of how we're so great and we're the best, but like we're really not. Like, I'm sorry, we like to boast a lot, but really not, because look at our music industry. Our music industry is shit. Because our, like, everyone, and not even just rappers, just music industry as a whole has stayed stagnant for the past, I want to say, like, 30 years. Mm-hmm. Like, there's been no progression. There's been no, like...
Hear me out.
Yeah.
I agree and disagree with that.
Okay, cool.
Because...
Tell me more.
The only reason is because I feel like Persian music at its core, I think it's very beautiful. Mm-hmm. I think that our language is very poetic, and the way that we're, even just like our vocabulary is so vast and is so dope. And we traditionally had really cool traditional instruments and really cool traditional aspects to our music that was really dope. I think we started going left when we started kind of getting whitewashed and trying to follow Western trends. And when we started following Western trends, we were always a year, 2 years, 6 months, whatever, behind.
Yeah, because that's why, like, The Weeknd comes out, and then 6 months later, all the Persian rappers start making Weeknd vibe songs. Yeah. And you're like, bro, what the fuck?
So I don't necessarily...
Bad Bunny gets big, and then everyone else 6 months later, they're doing reggaeton beats. They're like, okay,
bad.
Literally. I agree with that. They're just following the trends, but they're always behind. They're never innovating by themselves.
Yeah.
And it fucking sucks, man. And another thing that I always talk about, just in my own circle, I'm like, look at every other nationality. They have a breakout star, like a breakout singer to infiltrate the Western, like, vibe. Like Rosalia, amazing. She sings in, like, authentic, the traditional, like, flamenco style singing, but she still made it big, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even in, like, when you look at the Arabs now, there's 2 artists that are making it, infiltrating too. There's, like, Saint Levant and Eliana. I don't know if you know them, but like they're getting big. So it's like, when is it going to be our day? Probably not in my lifetime, but it's just nice to, like...
There are some artists making really good music, though. Like, I really like Afta. I know that you really advocate for him and always bring him up everywhere, which I really rate as well.
He's really good.
He's really dope. I really like what he's doing.
Danny is really good, but he's more like...
Oh, Danny's one of my favorites. Yeah. I love him so much. I'm such a fangirl for Danny. It's 100%. Crazy.
Danny and Arya are good. Danny and Arya are 2 people that I'm like, okay, I'm proud to, like, introduce you to non-Iranians. As, like, when my, like, white friends ask me, like, oh, can you show us Persian music? Like, I always show them either Danny or Arya or Sevdaliza or Snow Allegra. But they already know Snow Allegra, and then when they find out she's Persian, they're like, what the fuck?
Oh, shit. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, bitch.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Do you want to take another shot?
Sure.
Okay.